Cobra pose, floor progressions. The Cobra pose is an effective exercise for building back and hip strength, stretching the abdominals, improving posture, and decreasing the chances of back injury. Many people struggle with spinal extension or back bending, so take it slow and choose a progression that suits your current level. As strength and flexibility increase, you can move to a harder progression. The setup for all 4 progressions covered in this video is pretty much the same. Start by lying face down on the floor. Straighten both legs and point the toes to make the legs as long as possible. In the first 2 progressions, we push the inside edge of the feet and thighs together. Next, set a posterior pelvic tilt, PPT, by contracting your glutes and tucking your tailbone between your legs. Think about actively pushing the front of your hips into the floor for the entire set. Progression number 1 is the baby cobra. In this progression, place your hands on the floor as if you're about to do a push-up. From here, extend your cervical spine as much as possible by lifting your chin off the floor. Then, keeping the glutes contracted, push down into the floor as you extend your thoracic spine and slowly lift your chest off the floor. When you can arch no further, you've reached the baby cobra pose. Hold this position for the prescribed time, which can be anywhere from 15 to 60 seconds. Progression number 2 is nearly the same as progression number 1. We will work through the same setup and use our hands to help us move into the baby cobra pose position. However, once in the baby cobra, we lift our hands off the floor and try to pinch our elbows together behind our backs. As you lift your hands off the floor, you will lose some of the height in your extension, which is fine. This is the hands-free baby cobra, and it helps to increase the strength of our back muscles. You'll know exactly what I mean when you give it a try. Hold the hands-free baby cobra for the prescribed time, anywhere from 15 to 60 seconds. Progression number 3 is the straight arm cobra pose, or the cobra push-up isometric. The setup for this cobra is different from the previous 2, as we part the feet to be roughly shoulder width, which gives us more stability when we lift the hips off the floor. In this video, I'll talk you through 2 progressions. In the first progression, we will keep the hips and thighs on the floor. Start by lying belly down on the floor. Set the feet to be hip width apart and dorsiflex your ankles to place the balls of your feet on the floor. Set a strong posterior pelvic tilt, PPT, by contracting your glutes and tucking your tailbone between your legs. Maintaining the glute contraction for the entire set is critical as it protects the lower back. Next, bend your elbows and place your hands on the floor beside your chest, just like you would in a push-up. The further back you can place the hands, the more challenging the cobra will be. Experiment with the hand placement to see what works best for you. From here, start to extend the spine while pushing the arms straight. Arch the cervical spine, extend the thoracic spine, and push the arms straight while maintaining the PPT. It can be helpful to twist your hands into the floor towards your pinky fingers. This creates shoulder external rotation, rotates the elbow pits to point forward, helps to lock the elbows, and place the shoulders in a much stronger pushing position. You must also depress the shoulder blades by actively pushing down into the floor while pulling your shoulder blades down your back towards your back pockets. Do not allow the shoulders to shrug up towards your ears. Once in the cobra, contract the muscles in your back to pull yourself into a strong arch position and hold it for the prescribed time. The second progression is very similar to the first. Start by setting a strong posterior pelvic tilt and then gradually pushing yourself into the cobra position. Again, twist the hands into the floor, lock the elbows, and depress the shoulders. Once in the cobra, lift your hips and thighs off the floor. Again, contract all the muscles in your back to pull yourself into a strong spinal arch. Then, see if you can walk your feet towards your hands to further deepen the stretch. Keep lifting the chest up, pushing into the floor, maintaining the PPT and shoulder depression as you find a deep cobra position you can hold for the prescribed time. The fourth and final progression is the hands-free cobra. In this progression, we use the same setup as the straight arm cobra, where the feet are roughly shoulder width apart. Here's how it works. First, you need to ensure you're comfortable performing the elbow cobra and the push-up cobra before progressing to this hands-free version. If you can achieve both of these pain-free, you're ready to say, "Look mum, no hands." You will need a comfortable elevation to rest the hips on while performing the hands-free Cobra. A foam roller is a good option, but yoga blocks could also work. Start by lying belly down on the floor with the foam roller on the hip bones. Place your hands on the floor as if you're going to do a push-up, but keep the elbows bent for now. Set the feet to be hip-width apart and plan to flex your ankles to place the tops of your feet on the floor. Set a strong posterior pelvic tilt, PPT, by contracting your glutes and tucking your tailbone between your legs. Think about pushing your hips into the foam roller. From here, extend the elbows to straighten the arms while depressing the shoulders. Do not allow the shoulders to shrug up towards the ears. It can be helpful to twist your hands into the floor towards your pinky fingers. This creates shoulder external rotation and rotates the elbow pits to point forward, which helps to lock the elbows and places the shoulder in a much stronger pressing position. As you straighten the arms, keep the glutes contracted. Arch the cervical spine to look up at the ceiling and arch the thoracic spine as much as possible by contracting the muscles in your back. Once in the Cobra, contract the muscles in your back as hard as you can to pull yourself into a strong arch position while the hands are still on the floor. From here, slowly start to walk your hands out to the side while maintaining as much spinal extension as possible. The wider the hands go, the less support they will offer, until you can lift them off the floor and reach them behind you. As the hands move out to the side and leave the floor, you might lose some of the height in your arch, which is okay, but fight to maintain the best arch possible. Hold the hands-free Cobra for the prescribed time. This could be anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds. To exit the Cobra, place the hands on the floor to help support your weight and exit safely. Give it a try and see how you go. If you've got questions, please leave them in the comments. When working on spinal extension or back bends, like the Cobra, it's best to take it slow and work through the progressions. If you feel any pain while performing the Cobra, stop. Do not push through pain. Regress to an easier version and continue to work on your strength and flexibility before retrying a more challenging progression. Give it a try and see how you go. If you've got questions, please leave them in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.